I had an interesting conversation with someone from the men's movement who I look up to a lot and I've learned from a lot. And he raised an interesting point. Are we men's rights activists or men's issues activists? And here's what that means. A lot of times when I tell someone that I'm an MRA, that I'm a men's rights activist, they say, well, what rights are you fighting for exactly? The answer is a lot of the issues that MRAs talk about are not necessarily legal rights. It's not necessarily men being discriminated against under law. Now, some of them are, such as conscription, such as different pension ages, such as different eligibility for certain government welfare programs, selective service, etc. But there are many men's issues that are just that. They're not necessarily laws per se, but they're still issues that affect men and boys. You could call them male issues because they affect boys just as much as they do men. An example would be the education gap, where boys get lower grades in all subjects at all ages. Boys are less likely to finish high school and less likely to attend college. Now, you could say that there is legal discrimination there because there are less scholarships available for males. That could be considered a legal discrimination. But what is the trend about boys falling behind in school? What is the trend about boys earning lower grades? What is the trend about boys being less likely to graduate? What legal law could you apply to fix that? And what legal discrimination is at play there? So when you look at the men's rights movement, not everything we talk about is a matter of legal rights. Some of these trends are social trends. For example, young men being less likely to be employed, thus more likely to be unemployed. Young male unemployment is higher. Now, could you say there's a factor of legal discrimination if companies have incentives to hire women over equally qualified men? In some countries, yes, such as in Canada, for federal employment, it is the law, if all things are equal, to hire a woman over an equally qualified man. But maybe there's a social aspect too. Maybe there's a social reason why men are less likely to engage in the workforce. Maybe it goes back to the college education gap, where boys are less likely to finish high school, thus less likely to go to college, thus more likely to be unemployed. So it's not as straightforward as just saying rights and discrimination. So some people suggest that instead of calling ourselves men's rights activists, we should talk about men's issues. And while rights and legal discrimination is certainly part of the picture, it's not the only part of the picture.